Everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is myself and Comics here with another indie interview today. We just finished one a few minutes ago. We're on a new one today, and this time it is not on something on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, but on Zoop. And today we have Justin Cook, one of the, I believe, co-creators slash writers.
Yeah, I'm the writer. It's Coke also, just like the
Coke.
soda.
I keep saying Cook, and I know it's Coke.
Everybody does it. It's totally fine. I had my mom call me Jason. I get a lot of
Jason it is. Jason Coke. All right.
I've actually thought about using that as my pen name.
Hey.
Hey, we have Rachel. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You made it to the introductions.
Oh, good. I was hoping I wasn't too late.
Timing is impeccable.
Perfect.
All right, and today we are going to be talking about SWAT. Eldritch Blue, issue 1. How badly did I say that?
No, that's right. Yeah.
Good.
That was right on.
10 points.
Yeah. So I mean, SWAT is it stands for Secret Wizard Assault Team. Which is established in the first couple of pages. But basically, it's kind of what if it's kind of what we do in the shadows mixed with the Wire type of thing. It's a horror comedy basically that veers into a lot of different areas over the course of the series.
Awesome. You guys have had repeated partnerships with comics before?
No, this is the first project. This is actually the first project I've ever rolled out, actually. So yeah, this is the thing I worked on with Rachel for sure.
I'm doing, I guess, like a ton of books and partnerships and stuff. So like this is I guess maybe a little bit more mundane for me.
Nice. We'd love to see it. All right. Have you guys used Zoop before?
I've used Zoop before. I think I was actually one of the, I wouldn't say like one of the earliest projects on there, but like a really early one. It was right before Kickstarter announced that blockchain thing. And then people were talking about alternative platforms. So it was like right before, I guess, like Zoop had a little bit more like name brand recognition. But yeah, I crowdfunded with Marco Lopez with like with Ablaze, like the publishing company, to do like the first graphic novel of a book called The Nightcrawlers on there, and I think we did pretty good. We had like somewhere like 200 something backers, and that was before like it like got a lot bigger. I think before they allowed people to like just hit like a submit button. Like you had to email them before, actually.
Wow.
I didn't even hear about them until I was like included in the email chain with Marco and Rich, the CEO of Ablaze, where they're like, do you want to do Kickstarter or do you want to do Zoop? I was like, what the hell, Zoop? So we decided to give Zoop a shot. It was really easy. So when Justin said that, it was like his first campaign, I was like, well, Zoop does all like the printing and shipping and everything for you. If you don't want to handle like campaign, all the smaller stuff yourself, then you have them do it. Like that's kind of their big perk. So that's why Zoop came up.
So you don't have to spend money on anything? Just make sure you get the funding and they just cover all that stuff?
Well, yeah. So yeah, they take Justin, what's the percentage they take now?
Well, we're actually on the base plan, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I think if you do, that's right. I think Zoop now has like a thing where like if you do want to do all of that yourself, it's just like kind of a base, like a base plan. But if you don't want to do all that, it's like 5%, so something like that.
Less than 10%,
22%
something like that.
is what they charge for the top drawer one.
Okay, yeah, it's like that's their big plan. Then.
Really not bad at all.
No.
That is not bad at all. I'm very surprised at that. Why aren't more people on Zoop?
Kickstarter has like a lot of ubiquity, so they do have a lot of foot traffic. I think it makes it like very secure on that level. Like it was a bit of a challenge, like starting out because I was like, hey, my book's up on Zoop. Then I had to tell people what Zoop was. We don't have to do that with Kickstarter, so I think
right.
This is not the first time we've had this conversation.
Right.
I imagine not. I've never heard of Zoop personally, so this is a first time for me. But at least that door's open.
It's a curate. I mean, basically, it's a kind of a curated Kickstarter for indie comics. It's almost. I mean, I guess there's other stuff. They do have board games sometimes, but 90% of it's just comic based, and that was what attracted me to it. Is I thought it would be, where really serious comic fans would be, basically.
Okay. Well, she had said earlier, Rachel had said earlier that before it was email contact only, I assume, right? So that would make getting a hold of things and finding things, you have to be super interested. Getting somebody to click a link like that and take another step and then another step, it's very difficult. Right. It can be made marketing very difficult. But, as Jason, I'm just kidding. As Justin said earlier, that shows that it's a serious fan at that point, or somebody seriously trying to put a comic out and use a different platform. You really have to take that extra step to do that. And it says a lot, I think, anyway. So I'm interested in at least checking it out.
Yeah, they have a ton of different books up right now. It's like I think when I had first, done like the earlier book, the Nightcrawlers, like they probably only had maybe about like a dozen books that they had had projects for before. But one of the books, I'm forgetting what it is, and it's going to be horrendous because it was like a compilation of like these books of like an earlier. It was very beautiful. As for I think an artist who had actually passed away, and at the time I think I remember it had like they had 12 books. But this book had so much interest in it. It was over like $100,000 or something. So I was like, oh, there's a lot of like really high ticket books on here as well. It seems like it attracts a lot of I'm thinking like they did all the printing and shipping, and this is like for the family of like this artist. It's like, oh, like it's really good for maybe really well recognized artists who don't want to handle all of that stuff, or in this case, like obviously the family like of the person who had done all of this artwork doesn't want to handle all of that. So I guess it I don't know, like it has kind of like a really wide range of like smaller creators, and then like these really big bonanza books. I don't even know how to explain it. Like there's one on here. I've heard of Jorge Molina. He's got a book up on here, like Zurdo, I think is how you might say it.
Put order in is on here. Thank you.
Yeah, but they have like over 20,000 books. Yeah, like $20,000. Like it looks beautiful. It's like a really wide array, but it's very, very, very comic focused, as it should be. It originally billed itself as like a platform exclusively for comics. But I think if I remember correctly, I saw something where they are trying to court investors so that they can expand what they do. Into more of like a Kickstarter platform, but I'm assuming still with that perk of making things in-house. I'm not sure how they're going to achieve that, but I guess they've got a plan.
Nice.
I'm sure they do.
I believe they said that they on Twitter, they were talking to somebody. They said that they've been wanting to make an app soon, and I hope they do, because the only one that has an app right now is Kickstarter.
Yeah,
and I'm honestly using it the most because it's more accessible. I don't have to go
to
the history and just look for it all the time. It has a better look when it's on the app.
Right, yeah, it's a much smoother experience. Like I think the more accessible that Zoop gets, because like Kickstarter has the not only like the name brand recognition, but like that high accessibility. Like if Zoop can start to match that, then I think we'll have less incidences of being like, hey, have you heard about Zoop? Let me tell you about Zoop.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, there are creators that I follow and that follow me back. So as soon as there's a Zoop, I'm like, let me retweet that. Let me share that.
It's much appreciated.
Yes.
Traversing the Stars. Justin and Rachel are awesome. This book looks fantastic. I already bought my copy. And man, honestly, I've already seen some of the art and was like, that's my main thing. If I look at the art and I'm like, okay, that's interesting and unique, you got me right there. And then if you got a cool story attached to that, which I'm assuming, we're getting some new people popping in. So what I would like to do is kind of, if you guys want to, you switch on and off, however you want to do it, sort of break down maybe where you guys got the idea to go, where you started with this story, where the writing came from, characters and all that, and then explain us a little bit about the comic itself.
Yeah, sure. Rachel, I told them that are you still needing to leave?
Not immediately. So I do have to leave early because my wife works until like close at her store. So like I am her only ride, and she definitely confirmed with me tonight. Like, yeah, my coworkers can't take me home. So and she will get out early, but she doesn't live. She doesn't work super far. So I'm trying to mitigate my time, but I don't need to leave like exactly at this moment yet. No.
Well, anyway, sorry. So SWAT, it kind of came to me one night. It just sort of blew up. I think J.K. Rowling was doing her regular Twitter shenanigans, and I was sort of
laugh.
The whole Harry Potter parody just sort of exploded in my head, and I started writing it. It was that simple. I mean, it just came out of nowhere, really. But
okay,
that's good stuff. It's when lightning strikes that you're like, yes.
Well, yeah. Especially, I mean, you at least took advantage of it striking. That's good. So it came from that. So I'm assuming there's comedy. This is gonna have
like something funny and good should come out of J.K. Rowling's insane Twitter ramblings, right? Something enjoyable,
It was a lot more.
It's true.
A parody at first, and then it just sort of. I mean, it's definitely there still because it's there's a lot of it's a lot about kind of the millennial experience, which I think is, even though I was kind of old for Harry Potter when it came out, was still a major part of the millennial experience. I mean, I saw all the movies and everything, and so yeah, I mean, it's a story with a lot of heart. I'm super proud of it. It's the great. I slaved away for years writing novels, and then I switched to comics, and it's been amazing. And I'm just super proud of it. It's the best thing I've ever written for sure. I think it's a lot of fun. It's dramatic. It's crazy. It's really unhinged. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the plot, but
yeah.
Like one of the villains at one point is Count Von Zollen, who is a goblin / accountant / pirate who sails around the seas auditing people and just taking their stuff. Kind of stuff like that. It's weird. So
and then we have like a
question. I'm actually curious. Between like prose writing and like comic script writing, like what would you say is like the biggest advantage that you found like creatively, going from like comic script writing from like going?
I was curious. I was curious about that too.
Well, okay. I guess I don't. What are you asking?
Like you said like going from like novel prose writing to comic script writing, you're having, I'm assuming like either a more creative time or just like a more fun time. Like what is it about comic writing versus like traditional book writing that you're finding to be more pleasurable?
Well, first of all, I mean, writing a novel is kind of like digging a pool with a shovel by yourself. I mean, you just grind it out. Comics is a little bit. I really enjoy the structure of comics. Like it's deeply structured in that you have 22 pages. Go. You have to tell a whole story, 22 pages. You got to make it work. That excites my autism or whatever. I don't know. and then it's also creatively free, and so you had this mix where I don't know, I just feel like I'm on fire when I'm writing comics most of the time.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I like SWAT for me. I genuinely felt like inspired as I was writing it. It was I've written all 36 issues, to be clear, so it's not just the one.
Oh,
Right.
And it was just it was an experience. I'm happy. I feel blessed that I got to write SWAT. You know what I mean? Like, it was that much fun.
Well, there's the advantage of going from being a novelist or a long story writer to comics is you are thinking from beginning, you're outlining the whole story to the end game. And to be able to sit there and write all that as it comes out, it probably evolves into something new as you go. But to have the whole idea and the whole story, that's pretty awesome, man. Or at least that far into it written.
Yeah, no, I'm a hardcore pantser. Like I see about 100 feet ahead most of the time. I fully expect my idea for the ending to change 2 or 3 times.
No, sure, yeah.
I mean, I guess I found a love of writing dialogue when I switched to comics. I mean, it would have been increasingly important to me, in trying with the prose thing. I got more and more concerned with, the dialogue and whatnot. So comics it's kind of fun because you can rewrite like the equivalent of 10,000 words of prose, and that's 2 issues of a comic. And so I hate rewrites. Right. That's also a major plus, is the rewrites are way easier. So.
I saw a little. I guess I can see some of the comments at the bottom. I'm sorry, my wife keeps texting me, even though I told her
it might be time.
I thought my computer would like stop that notification, but I guess not. But I did see. There's a comment from Traversing the Stars that says, "I'm imagining a down and out Harry Potter." I'm like, that's like, you're already up exactly on one of the premises of what's happening here. So I'm glad you're getting that off the bat.
It's kind of what if Harry wasn't the chosen one and he was just a kid who survived a school shooting. And that's what it is.
Yes.
It's a comedy, but it's also kind of I feel like there's a lot of frustration with the world. Like, there's kind of a sense that things have just gone off kilter.
Yeah,
we're all tired and exhausted and fucking, just
for sure.
I tried to express that, so
that addresses something everybody can relate to,
right?
Overworking in a really bad economy.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and like one of the things that I really enjoyed when I first read the script, when Justin was just like, read this, tell me how you feel about it, was like, part of the tagline is like this sort of like really burnt out like Harry Potter insert sort of and sort of not, but something that always struck me, like I as a child, of course I read all of the Harry Potter books, and even like as a child at the end of the book, I asked myself, why are like the only jobs in the Harry Potter universe like shopkeeper, teacher, cop, or like government official? Like, you got 4 things you can do, because you don't really need doctors, you don't really need like engineers, and so I was just like, so at the end of this, like, Harry becomes a cop, huh? And so to me, this sort of felt like finding the thing that I wanted that continued like that thread, because I'm like, that's like, that can't be a great job, right? Like, what would, like, realistically, right? Like, what would that be like? And that, like that, this sort of was sort of stumbling on like the kind of additional story that I was looking for. Like, I don't want like, one of these like lionizing fan fiction stories where it's like, oh no, he becomes a cop and it's great. He's really thriving off of that. It's like, no, he's super not thriving off of that. I'm not saying that we don't need engineers. I'm saying that the wizarding world evidently doesn't need engineers.
Yeah,
Abracadabra.
I'm totally hip on all this.
Yeah, if you can just bust out some pidgin Latin and
yeah, absolutely. It's just like, I am assuming they just sort of magicked the stones there, and it all worked out great.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I guess going from novel writing to comics, which would help with all this, and it's kind of on topic, I think, too, is you don't have to write and explain the environment. You don't have to write and explain the actions. You just go with dialogue. You're using the images and the artwork to portray the actions. And I think you can just 100% go into the dialogue and send it in that direction. So I'm very curious to see where this is going to go with that premise, as far as, you've got a burnt out detective, basically, who was a magician sorcerer going through that dark side of that world. Maybe even the burnt out side of that world is what I'm seeing. And I think that's going to be really interesting, man. I'm kind of excited too.
Well, thank you. I mean, it really is. I think it's amazing. I mean, obviously, I'm biased, but
but like that's what sells it. You're so excited, and you have so much confidence that it's going to be good, or it is good, and that it makes us want to read it just much more.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I am probably delusionally confident. I think but
it's a nice change.
At the same time, it's kind of, it is about a busted up Harry Potter. It's also about it's kind of about unity, I guess. Like it's about people. They're a team of people. Everybody on here is on the team, basically. And they can be weird and they can be jerks, but they really care about each other as people, and like they're going to be there. Like if any one of these people on that on the team called the other one at 2 a.m. to help get rid of a body, they'd come.
Okay.
Right? Even if they weren't getting overtime.
So they form a brotherhood.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they get through what they're going through, not because they're perfect, but because they're definitely, all of them are flawed people, but like they will back each other up. And I think that's something that I think people really would like to see right now. I know I
humanity.
Would.
Family, a sense
solidarity,
of
I guess.
Right? Yeah.
Unity. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. I'm just agreeing, like saying, unity, family, underlining. That's good. That's something that's needed, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things. I mean, it's not just a horror comedy, or it's a lot of different things. It's pretty much, I was pouring myself on the page. It's all there. This is, in a weird way, my autobiography.
Interesting.
Most way, at least factual way possible.
Right, what you know.
Yeah, that's why I said it in Missouri, and that's why I wouldn't have thought I'd be like a local color writer or anything like that, but for me to write how people sound is basically me writing Missouri, right? So, because that's what everybody I know is, or it talks. That's pardon that sentence, but basically I'm in the Missouri dialect, right? So for my most natural dialogue style is that. So I just said it in Missouri, and it's very how people from Missouri talk,
Yeah.
Which will hopefully add a level of, personality to it.
Well, it's definitely more salt. It adds flavor for sure, that you set it in a setting, you put it in a place, and you it's a challenge to write the dialogue that way too, where you're forcing people's brains to pronounce the words the way somebody has an accent. It can be clever.
I hope I'm not doing too much of that. I mean, I would hope that it sounds like reasonable to someone from Boston, right? But it definitely, there's some y'alls, there's some ain'ts, that kind of
good.
Nice.
They cuss like they're from Missouri. I don't know.
I wasn't sure how much cussing happened in Missouri. I mean, I'm from the East Coast, so like we have our own particular pride in how often we cuss. So I never thought about like Missouri swearing.
If there's not a pastor nearby, it's probably pretty blue.
I think on the East Coast you swear more if there's a pastor nearby.
I drank water at the wrong time.
There are a lot of pastors in Missouri, though. So
yeah, that is true.
I bet you there's more in Kentucky. I'm willing to bet a
probably
month's salary on that one. There's a church on every corner down here.
I was in Memphis a while ago,
Oh.
There's like a seminary every 6 feet down there.
Oh my gosh.
It's all over the place. Yeah.
What are
I
people
don't know why
doing over
that's
there?
funny, but it is. Lots of cussing in Missouri.
Lots of cussing and MO. We swear a lot on the East
I was
Coast.
gonna
It's
say,
good
I'm
to
pretty
know.
sure it might be just an America thing. It's just you get different seasonings and different flavors when you get regional. You know, it's different types
Yeah.
of cussing. And
I don't know
very
any
clever ways
Floridian
to-
curse words, but I'm pretty sure they exist.
Oh, I
You
use
know, that comment kind of reminds me, like specifically, like I don't live there right now, or else I also wouldn't live around quite so many churches. So you know where I'm from, like, a decent amount. So like I'm from Baltimore, so like there's a lot of swearing, and obviously, of course, one of the appeals to like this book was just like, oh yeah, you know, of course I'm familiar with The Wire, so like okay, yeah, here's like my chance to sort of do something a little adjacent, but like wild and just strange, like not, you know, like the insane version of The Wire.
Nice.
If I'd ever been to Baltimore in my life, I might have said it there. It has the right vibe for sure.
Okay.
Who's the guy who did The Wire?
Oh shoot, I'm forgetting. I just read.
He did his show before that was Homicide: Life on the Street, which might be forgotten TV.
Yeah.
Andre Brower was in it. The Yaphet Kotto, who was the bassist for Girk, he was in it. It was a really good show. It's really hard to watch. It's like
David Simon.
It's in some sort of weird streaming hell for some reason. But
That was on Netflix.
I have them on DVD, but every single season I have is missing one disc somehow.
For you young ones out there, a DVD is a piece of plastic, like a CD that you put into a machine and it plays a movie. It even gives you a menu and you can use a remote to select the menu, but if you lose the remote, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, you're pretty much in water.
CDs are made out of plastic?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wave of the future.
How do you get it?
Rachel, while we have you though, I do have a question. What exactly you guys are co-creators, or maybe co-writers? I was curious. What is it that your part of this is? Like, what did you bring to the table as far as with SWAT?
Well, I'm the writer. She's the artist.
Yes.
We have an artist. I just said we
did.
need to have more artists. I'm sorry. I assumed it was writer, so I did not know you were the creator of this.
I knew as much
interesting
less
artwork
information as possible during all of this.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. So
we just finished an interview earlier, and we were just talking about how we need more artists to interview. And I only interviewed like one, but he didn't know English. It was Italian.
It's a little lost in translation there.
Well, that's good. I'm so glad that we have you on now. I'm glad you were able to make it, at least if it was for part. Okay, so I was blown away by the artwork. I love unique styles. Like, no, I mean, when somebody takes like a very kind of serious style and mixes it with a cartoon style, that you've sold me. Like, that was the one thing that drew me to it, was the artwork. I was like, oh, this is great. Like, this could be animated. This would be wonderful.
Same with me.
So explain it, like, because what kind of styles is this? Your normal style? Is this something that you do when you sit down and draw a picture of anybody? This style is your particular style. Did you have to find something unique and read through the story and went with something that felt original?
That's a good question, because you know, like I was saying, my cat just
Kitty
tail. He literally just jumped up here and he just won't take no for an answer. This is Roland.
Exactly.
So there's just more cat butt entering this thing.
Yeah.
So as I try to explain this around the cat butt, so my previous book that I had on Zoop is like a middle grade like readers. It's very like the Goonies, and you know, aimed towards like younger to like middle school readers. There we go. Okay, got the Roland off me. It's like very precariously perched on me. And so I think when I really started to dabble more on Twitter, because you know, like I get this email from Marco the writer, and he's just like, "Hey, yeah, we've got a publisher that's interested," and I'm like, "Holy shit!" But he's like, well, it has to go through crowdfunding. And I'm like, I am not alive on social media very much. So I had to sort of figure out like where I like to post the most. I would post probably the most at that time, like on Instagram. And I'm currently locked out of my Instagram because I lost my authenticator. So anybody who's following me on Instagram, I'm so sorry, but that is what's going on. That's why I can't see anything. But that also being said, you know, when I was like, well, what about Twitter? Like I had just worked with a writer. Like sometimes I'm on Reddit and, you know, we got to talking and I saw he's like, oh yeah, you know, I like to post here on Twitter. And I'm like, Twitter, you know, not great for people. Maybe like me with like social anxiety because
It's true. It's true.
She speaks facts.
What if I become the main character? It seems like you could do that by like, you know, just very randomly. Like what if it happens? You start to like spiral. But I was like, you know, he's on Twitter, you know, like I'll add him on Twitter. I'll just start to like emerge out of my rock. And so one of the first things that I had really promoted there was like the Nightcrawlers. But the Nightcrawlers is actually a little bit more I'd say like it's not out of my wheelhouse. Like I would say I drew SWAT about as comfortably as I drew like the Nightcrawlers, even though like one is a very like kid friendly, very like kind of a cuter sub, only because like I mean, how do you draw kids? Like they've got, you know, big eyes and round faces and, you know, so like when it came to drawing like SWAT, which is just like all really burnt out adults. I don't know, like I just like, how do you draw a burnt out adult? Like, it's just like, it's the same thing. So like, I feel like I didn't have to really stretch myself. It's more like, there are a lot of things that I really like to draw, and I guess some include like monster hunting children, and some of them include like magical sad cops.
There's no in between.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I just like to draw a bunch of things, and so you know, another reason why I was like, yeah, I'd like to draw for SWAT is because you know, after like the Nightcrawlers, you know, a lot of people will ask me to draw like other middle grade like comics and stuff, which is great, but I also want to be able to express all the things that I'm interested in. So like I'm happy to take those on, but I also want to make sure that I got to do other things. So I was like, great, yeah, I haven't been able to do anything I guess like this explicit really, because there's, you know, people getting killed and stuff, so
kind of fun then.
Entrails and gore.
Yeah. So like I'm not like into ultra power violence, but like you know, like a crime scene or two, you know, something kind of grim and grisly. Like, yeah, like I'm into that. I like horror of all stripes. So, you know, like from kids horror to like, you know, now we've got, you know, just straight up monsters.
Kids horror will mess you up.
Yeah, that's true though. You know, I say that and I'm like, Nightcrawlers, like the book I did have somebody very explicitly die, and there's eldritch things in that too. I guess there's a lot of crossover, but yeah, it's just like I like having the opportunity to do like both something like cute and friendly and fun, and also very like serious and macabre and weird. Yeah,
you actually did a good job, because that's exactly how I described it when I was looking at it. So you nailed it with what you were trying to do, because I look at the art and I see this is serious. You could take it seriously and you could look at it from a very serious standpoint, but at the same time, it's fun, it's cute, it's cartoony, and I don't know. Everybody looks so unique. Each character has their own design. I think it's great. It's absolutely
great.
It.
Yeah, I can't wait to dig into it, to be honest with you. I really can't.
Something I think that I can't suppress when I draw. Everyone always describes like my artwork as like really open and friendly, which I think is great. So like the fact that, you know, I can still have sort of you know, something that's not like super hard boiled looking, but still have it translate well to, you know, the subject matter. Like I'm glad that people enjoy that, you know.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, he's saying, okay, cool.
Do you Are you asking how many pages in this issue, or for the total series, or three?
Ooh, that's a big question.
That is a big question.
Because that's going to change.
Usually,
About
blah,
20
blah, blah. This issue.
First issue, I think, is
24,
actually
25.
it's going to be 24 pages in the sense that when you add like the title credits or the credits and stuff in, it'll be at 24. Like I think it's actually 21-page script, maybe 22. Total, it would be about 760.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Damn.
like forehead sweatingly large.
That's
That's a good thing.
I hope that
somebody,
we got book one, like the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So
I mean, I think I watched it go up live if Zoop does it that way, because I think the number was different when I first was looking at this page.
it was
so.
it hasn't gone up that much, but it did go up a little bit. Yeah.
It was like 100 something, and now it's 205. But I wonder how much it was before the 205 because I forgot.
As the number gets bigger.
Well, yeah, it should. It should. I'm curious though. I'd like to kind of scroll, if you could scroll down a little bit and give us some ideas. Maybe before we go over the packages, anyway, we'll go over some of the art and have them both kind of walk us through a little bit of whatever it is that they have. Do you guys have previews on here? Or if you guys want, we could watch the trailer if you guys want. I was not sure if
we got the trailer. You got the first 6 pages as well. If you want to look at that. I mean,
well, look at they put it. Are they missing a page? It's not the first.
Well, scroll down. Yes, there. Well, scroll down.
It's like it didn't get. Oh yeah, I got it there at the bottom.
It's out of order. Okay.
Yeah, put it out. We gotta email them.
You gotta email.
Somebody's getting fired.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Okay, yeah. No, I've seen this before. Like I was looking at this before, and I think that the artwork already got me. You get a quick synopsis with the story, but hearing straight from the creator and the writer is going to be a lot better. Having these images looked at, kind of it's different than just reading it, and looking at the page.
Yeah. Actually, when you get a chance, hit that trailer up.
Oh, okay. We can do that.
Yeah, no, I was cruising around for an artist, and I actually almost hired somebody else, but I don't know, I started having doubts, and they started not taking my money, and so anyway, I kept looking, and then I found her, and I'm like, if we cranked this up to like 8 on the serious scale, it'd be perfect, and I think that's pretty true, So, I'm really happy with the art. For sure. I think it fits perfectly with everything.
All right, let me go full screen and we'll check out this trailer real quick, guys.
Yep. A few months ago, the St. Louis Budget Committee decided to cut spending. They already cut the library and the schools and band and shop and English, public transportation, healthcare, housing, sewage, and roads. Did I miss anything? Anyway, the leaders of SWAT had a choice: fire someone or come up with an elaborate plan to make themselves indispensable, even though they hate it here. The plan, well, it goes about as badly as it possibly could. March 16th, 2022. In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are not their stories. These are not their stories at all. This is the story about the cops other cops don't know even exist. They aren't the guys who deal with rapists and pedophiles. They deal with the stuff that would give those special victim knobs the screaming purple Henrys. This is the Secret Wizard Assault Team.
That's great.
To be perfectly honest with you.
Whoa, let's not watch that. promoting a complete different channel there. Yes, I follow Roanoke Gaming, guys. That was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and to get the close up and the narration with you get the flavor. That
In
was
iMovie,
really-
that's called the Ken Burns. I learned that making that. So
Just FYI, I only have a few more minutes according to.
well, you
Is there anything else that I should cover before I have to run?
anything that you would like to mention anybody viewing or to either one of us?
Gosh, there's so many things. I mean, I guess I'll pull up the campaign here as well. Yeah, here we go. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we've got our digital edition, our early bird. So I guess if I had to promote anything, it's like the early bird. It's like the first 48 hours. So if you want to dip into that, and then Justin, do you know if Zoop, when they have like our signed copies, is that just going to be you, or is that going to be both of us?
it was supposed to just be me, but they made it sound like it's going to be both of us, so I guess it should be both of us.
Yeah, because we did something like that for the Nightcrawlers as well. Like we had signed copies. So yeah, like it would be easy enough to have them like both signed. So I guess I'll talk to them about that. One of the things that I'm the most excited about is like the trading card tier. So what we have up there, it's not all of the trading cards. We're doing 4. But there you can see we've got Larry, and we've also got like Mimi, 2 of like 4 set of cops. I think when we do like the next issue, so that will continue to expand. So it's like, yeah, get it on the ground level. Make sure you get like your trading card of like the main character. I think it's probably like the cutest one that we've got. I think there's also the one that gives you the whole thing where you get like the temp tattoo of like the warrant, which is a Nerf gun loaded with wands. Yeah, so it's like you can slap that right on your arm, and just like maybe down the road, like with like other chapters, like keep doing stuff like that. Might also have it as a sticker, and I believe down there, there's a commission tier. But yeah, then there's also, you can get the cover signed. I do want to, I'm currently working on like touching up the color somewhat. So you might see a little bit of an edited one if I can get Zoop to swap it, but that is like the cover and everything. Wow. Yeah, I guess I mostly wanted to talk about like what I think are like the coolest rewards. And
yeah, that's good. That got us down this road.
The trading cards will be fully colored, and they'll have backs that have jokes. We're just not quite done yet with that.
When it came to the back, I was like doing up the back, and I was like, wait, do they even want a picture of the back like on the thumbnail? So I was like, I'll just like keep working on the fronts, because like I don't know why they would put like little text of the back of the card. Like,
yeah,
right.
That would definitely be the most important.
Like
that
a little character bio, I assume.
halfway through. It's like, wait, they're not
make the back of their heads. That'd be.
Oh, you guys are gonna have a digital also signed comic book?
Wait, what?
Did they do a whoopsie? Oh, they did. Look at that.
Oh, well, no,
It's
printed.
the bundle. It's the bundle. No, that's that.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
I don't know why you want to
Oh,
print it in a PDF, but maybe you want to load it onto your iPad or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think after pointing out that they put our pages out of order, now we're just like, what else? What else did they do?
I'm glad we could help.
Yeah. Fortunately, it looks like they only put the first page out of order. Everything else is normal. So if you just read that last one first, then you're good.
Nice.
I'm used to that. I name my pictures wrong all the time, and then I'm like, oh, the first one's at the bottom. So I do that.
Yeah, I'm like, I bet this was something in the way that I actually named the file. So they're like, oh, this is the last one. I bet this is actually me.
I didn't name the first one 01.
Yeah.
That's where I messed up. Okay, I get it now. This is great. You guys, it seems like the pricing is fair. It seems you can even go higher for what you guys are offering, because the bundle is great, because that's perfect. You get a copy that's signed, and for the early bird, I mean, anyway, and you get the digital, so you don't have to open that plastic package when you get it. You can just read the digital copy and keep your signed copy safe. And I think that's great. That's always an ideal package for me anyway. That's the ones I'm always most interested in, is getting both. I like a print, but I hate having to open and reading it because I feel like, man, I don't want my fingerprints on it, you know.
Even what you don't have to wait for your physical copy. You can read it as soon as like it's done. It'll just get sent to you, and then when the physical shows up, it's like an extra goodie.
Was there supposed to be a picture of what the bookmark's supposed to look like?
Yeah, I'm still coloring that one up. So like if you keep an eye out on there, like you'll actually see like the final.
Yeah, we kind of went from no date to it's next week pretty fast.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so yeah, that's why some things are like clearly visible and other ones are like just give me a moment here. It'll go. So
It'll be cool. I mean, I think the temporary tattoo is a fun idea.
Yeah, that's old school. That's that's really old school in my opinion. And I've still got some really old ones that I'm definitely not going to put on my body at this point. They may kill me, but I've got some old ones from back in the day that I was just like, I can't get rid of these yet.
I mean, they might give you like superpowers or at least a cool mutation.
Cool. I mean, Toxic Avenger style.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that great? Do I want to be Swamp Thing? No.
You roll the dice.
No.
Only for a campaign this time that early bird exists.
Yes.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm not used to that either. That's a first time for me hearing anything.
Yeah, I always show up like the day after that's done. And I'm like, fine.
All the time.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
time.
It's like I know it's usually the difference of like $2, but like I worked hard for those $2. If I was just here yesterday, I could have $2 whole more dollars.
I mean, even just the initial tier where you get the signed printed these are steals. These are really well priced. And I don't know, do you guys have any say in that? Or
we picked it. Yeah.
Okay. So you got total control over
the
all that.
line between a reasonable profit margin and I don't
there's
want
a tip jar.
There's a little
we
if
should-
you want to buy some donuts.
that link should have been in the chat, I think, if I'd have known about that.
Well, I definitely tried to make it, reasonable. I've been pricing all this stuff out, and so I know roughly. I mean, it should be pretty reasonably priced. I didn't want to gouge, but obviously there needs to be. It's shockingly expensive to make comics.
Okay.
Like, in all seriousness, I did the math. I think.
Call. So I got to get out of here. But thank you so much for like having me. This has been
Thanks
really
for
cool.
being here.
Yay!
Thanks for talking with us.
I'll have to call you guys again, whenever I launch like something else.
Yes, I just saw
Definitely.
your description. You did it was that anthology was a Sharp Wit, something like that.
Yeah. I'm so used to calling it SWAT Cow at this point. I was like, right, that's the name of it. Then there's I just did the When I Was Young anthology, and I'm so used to calling that one Wiwi, which is probably like the strangest one. Like Michelle is like the editor on that book, and we text each other, and she's like, "You got my page for Wiwi," and it sounds like really serious, and then you try to like vocalize it, and it just sounds like you're saying something in baby.
Really?
Yeah, the Wiwi. Oh, really? Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but it's like it was a super intense process because that one, everything that went wrong, you could not fathom. Like my monitor died in the middle of it. My computer died in the middle of it. My writer, she had an accident and broke her arm, so she couldn't do rewrites. Like everything went wrong. And things like spilled way into overtime for something pronounced Wiwi. So like that felt quite bizarre. So, and I'm wrapping up a book. I don't know if you saw the Kickstarter, probably the biggest Kickstarter I ever did, like as just like the solo artist, was Catskin and the Rose. And I think that one went over like 20K on like Kickstarter.
Whoa.
And so I'm wrapping that one up, and we're already talking like about a sequel. So it's like, oh, maybe we should do like a launch party when we do that. I know that one is coming up. Yeah, I've never I've never heard of this podcast before, but it's been great.
Well done.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. And Reese's drive safely.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna speed over in my 1996 Toyota Corolla that just got repaired.
Oh, that is the best car on earth.
Yeah.
Yes,
The greatest car on earth.
I'm still waiting for a call back from the mechanic because, again, everything that went wrong that could possibly
Of
get
course.
it. This fortunately is minor. I had to have like the whole like timing belt and the pulley and the water pump, like it all just like exploded, and quite a while for them to fix it because not only was that expensive, but it's also a very time intensive job. And at the very end, they're like, oh, well, we've got your car. But when we were putting it back together, the mechanic crushed your intake air temperature sensor, but it'll drive. And I'm like,
Nice.
oh, I've been waiting for the part. And they're just like, just don't drive it for more than an hour. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So that's what's happening. Fortunately, I won't be driving an hour to go pick up my wife. So
Let's go.
Well, be safe. Lord.
thank you. Yeah, we're gonna be great. Me and the 96 Toyota Corolla, you know, we're
It'll
literally
get
ride
you
or die. So
It'll get you through. It's a really old car, so things eventually break.
yeah, like it's a machine, you know, it is what it is. So
Right.
but you know, she's doing a lot better these days. So that's what matters to me.
Well, be safe. Definitely contact us again with anything else. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll probably chat with you guys later.
All right. Awesome.
See ya.
All right. Have a good night.
Woohoo!
Woo. That was really fun. Love Rachel. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah,
I love Justin too.
I feel really bad that I wasn't fully armed with all the information, but at the same time, I'm glad that she got to talk about it, like in that kind of way. Because if I did know, it would have been different, right? So that was really good. Justin, man, the way that you're excited about the story, and I got to say, it's a fresh flavor. A lot of the people that we've talked to in the past, they're confident, but not in the way that you are with your story. And to me, that's saying that kind of gives me that something we don't know vibe, and I want to know now. So what I'm gonna go through here and pick a tier. I'm gonna have Bianca send me the link. I've never been to Zoop, so I think it'd be easier if she just shot me the link privately, and I can just go straight to your.
I'll post it publicly. Give me a second.
Oh, that would actually. I think it is public. Is it in the? Oh, I see it.
It's in the pin chat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I missed it. My bad, guys. And okay, we're good.
I'm not logged into Zoop, so I haven't chose anything yet.
It is failing to post. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Is this like an Indiegogo thing where you are charged as soon as you pick a tier, or is it like Kickstarter where after it ends is when you're going to be charged?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I should ask that.
I guess I'll find out here soon.
I
only backed one time, and that was last year. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think I never occurred to me to ask that. I just always assumed it was when you ordered it, but I guess that would be kind of weird sometimes when.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair because with this kind of business, either way, you know what you're kind of getting into. And I know can't you set Kickstarter up to where they get the money immediately, or you're immediately charged? Like, is it just how the paid creator chooses to do it that way? Because Patreon, you can set up Patreon that way. You can set it up to where they don't get charged till the next month rolls around, or they immediately get charged. And it's your choice as the page creator. So I was curious. I don't, nobody's ever mentioned that backstage about Kickstarter versus Zoop, if you're in control of that aspect of it, or if it's just the website that makes that decision.
They never asked me, that's for sure.
Okay, so then maybe I guess
I would say grab the money now, because I've heard other creators complain about how, like, when Kickstarter hits, you lose 10% of your, not 10%, but some amount of it is just going to bounce, right?
Well,
you might end up with quite a bit less than you thought you did, depending, so.
I actually did hear about the 10%. So sad.
Yeah, I mean, people forget, and then it's rough. I've had $2 in my bank account before.
In there,
Oh
buddy.
shit,
Yeah.
the Kickstarter hit. Right. So
I totally understand that. I've been at 39 cents this past week. Still thriving. I got
Yeah.
it. I got it.
Yeah, you're talking to some regular folk with regular folk problems, that's for sure. So we understand, we get that. And I was curious because that's kind of the way when I do things like that, those are important decisions to make. Like,
Oh,
am I going to
I
see
got it.
money immediately that I can use to utilize finishing this comic, or is it going to be once we've hit a goal, then it closes? And
I don't get paid. We don't get paid until, obviously it clears that goal. I don't, if that's
Okay.
what you mean. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I should check that. So
I got it. So
she's got it. I got to create an account. apparently.
so you can't be able to choose anything unless you make an account, but luckily I do have an account. Good night, random.
Good
So
night, bud.
as soon as I put in my info, like where you want it to be sent, and you go to the credit card part or debit card, whatever card, it says that you will be charged when it is successfully funded. So it is like Kickstarter where you wait for the days and then you get charged. So you get charged in 30
Okay.
days.
So you can be smart and plan it. Okay, that's great. That's great.
I got way too much ADHD to plan ahead for a $13 purchase a month later.
Because I mean, in particular cases, maybe not your case, but in some cases, some of these tiers can get pretty pricey.
Yeah,
I've noticed along the way. So not with your case, but in some other Kickstarter cases, I've been
No,
like,
that's
holy crap, that's a lot for one issue. Like,
hey, there we
I
go.
get it. Oh,
It's exciting. I mean, I don't know what it's been nice watching it go up for sure. I mean, it's going to be a very fun. You're not going to regret it, guys. It's real good. I've read a lot of comics. I read a lot of books. I'm proud of this, and it's just going to be off the wall and just blast. It really is.
So far, Sassy, he is pretty laid back and chill. And you missed the beginning of the stream, so if when we're done, scroll back and watch it, you'll see some of the breakdown where he breaks down some of the story and his background from writing. And what's interesting is I'm kind of working on sort of slowly a story, a comic I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I worked with a writer early on, and he was a novelist. He wrote stories and short stories and was going to be a novelist. And he was approaching from that perspective when trying to write a comic. So he's sending me like the first few pages, and they're just, I think it was like 10 pages of dialogue. And I'm like, okay, whoa, like we're not going to need that much, man. Like, it's like, I was trying to break it down. Like, you're just going to be kind of writing dialogue. I'm going to be providing with, like storyboards, the settings and the actions. You don't really need to go through all that. Maybe narration too, that kind of thing. And I think it threw him off, and he wasn't really into that, is what I think happened.
You gotta, that's one of the beautiful things about comics is you gotta be so, there's a rhythm to each page.
Yes.
There's a rhythm to, if the pages are facing each other, you write it differently than if it's,
Mm-hmm.
The structure there is very important. And, my first comic series, which actually is probably going to be launching that in September. But anyway, the first script, when we started drawing it, the artist is like, dude, that's 2 pages of shit.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely right. So that kind of discipline where you are making the space for the artist to do interesting things with the panels, and there's enough space for dialogue and all that, it's something that you pick up.
Do you have any art background at all? Like,
no, I'm terrible at it.
Okay.
I was
that's an advantage, I think, for me anyway. That
I like art.
In writing, I can visualize what I want the panel to look like, and then give an artist who is way better at what I do than that.
I definitely have a very strong. I've always had a very strong imagination. Like I have very definite, vivid imagery that I'm writing down. My approach to it is I give the scene description is basically a creative prompt for the artist to do something.
Yeah.
And then I have the dialogue, so I do really, I just I believe in letting the artist go do what they're going to do. I do not micromanage that, because you're right. Like they know way more about how to make this look cool than I do. If I designed a car, it probably looks like a Cybertruck. So, I definitely want them in there, using a lot of discretion. And so far, well, it's worked out 2 out of 3 times. That's pretty good.
And that's good odds in this industry. And you seem like you picked the right person for the right project. Like you guys just it looks like you're feeding off of each other anyway.
I think we've got a pretty nice, I think we have pretty decent chemistry in terms of, I mean, she likes, not decent, it's good chemistry. I love what she's doing, and she seems to enjoy my scripts. And then, picking the right artist is very important, because if you get one that, the first guy I tried to work with, he never did anything. He took like 9 months to get me 6 bad pages that I hated.
That sucks, man.
And it was really bad, and I was super disappointed, and that was wasted a year of my life. So you gotta. After that, I became much more picky, like about who. And it was my fault, because I honestly, like, somebody recommended the guy who'd read the script. I go and I'm like, this has got to be a joke, right? This is like some sort of thing specific to that. No, that was just his style. I should never, and it was my fault for hiring him. But you got to be careful, right? You just got to be.
Yeah.
You want chemistry. You want the artist to be on time, do good work, and be kind of fun to work with, right?
At least easy to get along with, and take criticism.
Sometimes it feels like you get to have 2 out of 3. Then if it's bad, you get 1 out of 3, and if it's a nightmare, you get 0 out of 3. So be careful with who you work with, I guess. But I've been, Rachel's been great. That was not aimed at her at all. So,
That's good, man. I'm glad that you guys at least found each other. Did you guys find each other on Twitter?
I found her through a link on a Discord server for comics.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was probably the Band of Bars Discord server, but I don't remember which one specifically. And then I went to her website and was like, yes, this is what we need to do. So
good. That's important.
It's been, oh, wow. Awesome.
I was going to say, man, it's real time going up. I'm watching it happen. So
all right.
Dang, I refreshed on purpose for nothing.
Cool. That's great. You're like, I don't, you know what? I'll sound crazy. You should get the one with the printed edition or the signed and the PDF, and just read the PDF, because this is.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a pretty good chance, honestly, like this might be worth something, at some point, because there's not going to be a lot of these. And I do think SWAT's going to be a big deal.
And the timing.
Dang it! I chose the wrong one.
You can always buy 2.
The timing was good, because we are going to be getting, I guess, another 3 sequels to the Harry Potter movies. I heard it's confirmed they're doing old Harry Potter. So the timing's good. Once that starts getting more popular and people are knowing that they're going through with those, I think it's going to draw more attention to these books. So I think that's a good idea. And you've got such a story planned out, it seems like, or at least roughly planned.
No, it's done. It's an insane story. You're not.
That's great, man. That's great. You got a story written, and you're just going to sit here and watch it unfold, and this is going to be fantastic.
My whole theory of writing is basically just I want to deceive the readers as much as possible, so they don't understand what's happening. It's kind of the Game of Thrones approach, right? Where they used Sean Bean. What's it? Ned Stark and Robb Stark decoys to trick you into not realizing that Jon Snow's the actual protagonist.
Yeah.
And everyone's emotionally committed because they don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? Who's going to get cholera? Who's going to get kicked on the head by a horse? No one. After they got rid of the red herrings, but it was genius too, right? It was. I mean, it really is genius the way he. The first 2 books of that are basically just a long con to get you to not realize who the actual protagonist is, and then you buy into the corniest thing you've ever seen.
It's too late. You give a shit. It's too late.
Yeah,
you give
the orphan child who's secretly the rightful king gambit, which is like Geoffrey Chaucer's. Like, oh my god, right? But you bought into it. It's genius. So, no. It's all over the place. It's intense. I mean, it's really good. I'm not just saying that to, make myself feel good. I genuinely, like, I've read a lot, and I think this stands out.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's fresh. It's different. I'm not used to hearing a writer a writer
we went
come
down.
from this aspect and have this kind of confidence. So it's
That
a
was
it's
me.
fresh.
Unlike Kickstarter where I can just change whenever, like I can just switch. I have to cancel it first and then redo it.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Oh, okay. She's giving it away.
Fear not.
I didn't want to take time to create an account while we're here, so I'll do that when we get done here.
And by my ceilings are perfectly normal height. I'm actually in a basement. It's just kind of a weird illusion.
It's an illusion. He's using magic.
Yeah,
it's quite appropriate, to be honest.
And well, I mean, since we're kind of, but the magic in SWAT is quite a bit different from your standard stuff in that, like there's, if you use it too much, reality can kind of snap. Basically, they're doing hermetic magic, right? Where they basically, as above, so below, right? They will it to be, and then that alters reality.
Yeah.
If you do too much, it snaps back on you, and reality can kind of take you out, or make your life pretty hard, right? So even though they have magic, they don't use it all the time. Like they try to avoid it and only use it when they actually have to.
It's finite energy in something.
Yeah, and it's taxing, it's exhausting, and if you do it too much, it's kind of like you can. Well, I've started writing the sequel, and there's a character called oh god,
that's a pretty interesting name.
Baron Munchausen, who's a literary figure, but anyway, he who lied all the time, right? Back in whenever. And he just uses magic constantly, right? And he's kind of set up for the I don't even know. I think I cut that, but anyway, the magic system is very weird. As you saw with the gun, it's kind of playful, and the warrant's fun, but it's also kind of gritty and violent at the same time, because if two wizards get in a shooting match, it's whoever shoots first that wins, right?
Yeah, well, true. I mean,
Right.
maybe
So
that's the
one
flavor
guy-
of Harry Potter. You kind of nailed that. When that's what you
Stupefy.
were going for, is that your first 3 movies, it was kind of fun, and you're seeing cute boy magic, and then people start dying in really bad ways, and you realize that okay, the magic is serious. There is a dark side to this, and it kind of unfolds that way. So I think
I didn't expect to change when I was younger.
I loved it. That's when I was like, okay, wait. I
didn't read the books. I didn't know what was going on.
Me neither. Me neither. And I'm telling you, it seems like if you were going for that with the original, with a trolling it, basically, I'm gonna make fun of this whole story and create this dark, gritty aspect. You've nailed the fun in an adult kind of fashion. You get what I mean? And then also nailed the dark, gritty, and that it burns you out, and that this is something that's gonna eventually break your soul if you keep doing it, or you could snap reality and cause all kinds of fucking problems. So I think it's a really cool aspect, very interesting, but I think you kind of nailed the flavor you were going for. And
Thank you.
you've got me certainly interested. So I'm definitely going to be backing this project. I was sold the second I saw the artwork. I mean, it's eye-catching, pop. Then you hear from the writer and hear a little bit about the story and where you came from, and it's even more interested now. Like, okay, I trust this guy as far as when he's saying this is good, you guys should get this. I'm not used to hearing it come from a writer like that, so it instills confidence in me as well.
Well, like I said, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, it was a genuinely a pleasure to get to write this. Like, I'm glad I got to write SWAT before I died. It's kind of like this. I feel like I spent decades toiling. I spent a long time. I a long time writing books, and to finally get here where I can do this, and it feels like my masterpiece, basically. So
wow,
I'm very proud of it. It's I'm dead serious about it's a fun, but I'm dead serious about being fun. Does that make sense? So.
That's absolute total sense. And again, I haven't seen the story. We got the sample pages. That's not enough. You know what I mean? To get, and we saw the trailer, which to get you interested, but it's not enough to see the whole story and see how the whole thing is going to unfold. And I'm pretty excited about that.
I'd be happy to send you, not everybody in the chat, but if you want to read a couple of scripts, I'd be happy to send it. There's issue 4 is where it gets really amazing. I think from a technical writing perspective, I think issue 4 is probably the greatest thing I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
Just in terms of the technical side of the panels and stuff, and the dialogue. But anyway, I have a very high opinion of myself. But I'd be happy to do that. But the story is very, I think the story is a lot of fun. The characters are a lot of fun. They definitely live in my head, right? They're doing things I don't want them to do all the time, which I take as a good sign. And so sign
Would
up.
you say this is a 17 plus comic? 16 plus?
30 plus.
That's
Wait, I'm only 28. I'm not there yet.
No, I definitely 18 plus probably. I mean, it's definitely adult, right? They talk like blue collar people, and I don't know that many cops, but I do know some EMTs, and they tend to be morbid and profane, right?
Is that what's happening to my brother? Makes sense now.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they see a lot of crap, and sometimes the way you deal with trauma is just like the darkness of the humor is.
I'm like that.
How,
so that's something I can
upset
totally
you really are. And by that standard, SWAT's very fucked up. But
that's why I think I'm really going to enjoy it. My sense of humor and how I deal with trauma is literally dark.
I don't
take me the wrong way. Like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah,
right?
I don't do a lot of I don't do the mow down 20 nameless goons thing because I think that's lame. But when there is violence, it is extremely violent. Right?
It's probably important too. Like it matters, and there's a price that's going to be paid at that point.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait.
I'm kind of sold. Like I'm like I think I know where he's going with this. It just went up again. I think I'm watching it go live. This is great. Every time I see the little thing, it catches my eye. I'm like, hey, it just went up again. It's gonna go up again.
This is good. Yeah, it's
You'll get there. I'm telling you, you'll get there. You got any more interviews that you want to let anybody know that you got coming up, or do you have any cons? Anything?
Yeah, hold on. I've got stuff coming up, but I'm sorry I didn't have that prepared.
Well, it was an out of nowhere question.
I am that guy. Like I am the guy that'll be like, so let me ask you a question you're not prepared to answer.
Went to the wrong place.
So are your eyes blue or green? I can't tell over the.
Well, I could give you the. Crap. I have one on Friday, but I don't even have that name. I've just got the link. Sorry.
No, this stuff
You're
is chaos.
good.
I get it. This stuff
If
is
you
chaos.
follow me on social media, you'll see it.
Which I added the links in the description.
All right, cool. Bianca's good at that stuff. All right, cool. I'll try to find you somewhere. I don't use Twitter. I avoid that like the plague.
I don't use Twitter either, probably for basically the same reason.
I haven't.
This guy, I had to restart my Facebook account for this. But
That reminds me, is that your mugshot for the picture of the thumbnail that you sent me?
Yes. That's an actual mugshot of me.
Yes. Okay. I was making jokes. I was like, I got a few real ones. I don't know if it's an app.
It's a complicated story, but basically there's this dude who embezzled a ton of money from an apartment complex, drove it into foreclosure. I saved it from foreclosure on behalf of the actual owner. And then every once in a while, that guy just shows up and tries to take over the building. And he's
As they do.
Huh?
As they do, usually.
Yeah. So basically, I tried to remove him and like 3 other guys from the property, and so they ended up they dropped the charges and everything. But I figured, hey, I'm writing a cop comic. I've got this. Might as well make some hay out of a shitty situation.
Yeah, no, it was good. At a distance, squinty-eyed, when it was very small, I was like, "Is that Alec Baldwin?" And then I had to zoom in closer, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I thought maybe it was an app.
Yeah, I'll take the compliment. The thing that got it for me is the advertisement that failed to load, right? Because that's a screen cap from one of those websites where they like try to like blackmail you into taking down the mugshot photo.
That's a thing.
Say what?
That's a thing. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah. I mean, well, maybe yeah, that's basically the idea. Is they post all the public mugshots and then they charge you a $300 fee to disappear it.
Oh.
When it's like you could just Google that shit. It's
Yeah, I didn't mess with it, but you know, whatever. But I mean, I'm proud. It's weird to say I'm proud of what I did, but I went 4v1 with some psychopaths. I'm not ashamed of what I did.
yeah.
You know, so I'm not super worried about it. And I thought it was funny to use it as a mugshot. You know?
That is funny. Now that we've heard the
Sure.
story behind
Mhm.
it, too, that just adds more flavor to it. It was already funny because I mean, I was like, when I'm looking at it, I was like, I mean, there's, you know, you could use an app, sure, but I was looking at it and I just kept looking at it. And I was like, but why? You know, he looks like he's had a rough evening.
Yeah.
And I know that in all my mugshots, except for one, I'm smiling with 2 thumbs up, and they were like, "Why? What is your deal?" There was a lady cop taking my fingerprints, and I was like, you know, you have fantastic cheekbones. They were like, "What is wrong with this dude?" And I was like, I'm done after this. Like all the bullshit. There was a lot of issues with my license in California and moving and all this stuff. So it's all traffic crap, but you know, a ton of freaking in and outs with that kind of stuff, because you get when they issue a court date and you don't know about it, they issue that whole failure to appear warrant, and next thing you know, you're getting arrested when nothing happened. You get pulled over, like what? And then you go to jail. So I had a few mugshots, and the one I knew that was the last one, it was all done. I actually had to go there on purpose to get it taken care of. I'm like thumbs up, and they're just like, what is this dude's problem? Like, because after tomorrow I'm gonna go home and I never have to see this crap ever again. It's all done and over with. So you can Google me and find them. I actually had people do that and be like, what have you done? And I was like, well, it's not going to tell you over Google. You're just saying, it's like, I'm in there for assault. Yeah. Right. I took out 10 people. No.
I gotta tell you, I mean, I spent a few hours in the county jail, and it's an experience, man.
You can handle that. You can handle anything. Like
all the I mean, everybody's screaming. The staff are just like zombies. Like there was this guy who was screaming for like an hour, right? Full on screaming like he's in Alien 3 screaming. And I
mean, strange reference.
It's a movie set in a prison, and they yell.
Oh no, I'm familiar. Just
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was deep track, but just yelling insults and just all that stuff. And I asked the guard, like, as I was checking out, right, what that guy's deal was, and he's just like, oh, he looked at me for a second. He's like, what are you talking about? And then you could see him like, I'm going to actually try to listen. Oh yeah, that's
that guy,
crazy guy. Yeah, he's like a locally famous crazy person, is what it was. But
yeah, that's Jim. Yeah, that's Jim.
So it's I honestly, I mean, like, I felt really bad for the guards, honestly, because I mean, like, imagine living in basically a concrete dungeon.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
I mean. No one should be there.
They're just so burnt. They don't care. They're either really mean to you for no reason, just because, or they just don't care and they're absent. So it's just a bunch of people who did mostly, you're surrounded, in your case or in my case, you're surrounded by people like, oh God, my last stint, there was a guy having heroin withdrawal at night. So I had trouble sleeping on my toilet paper pillow. But other than that, because every 15 minutes there's retching. Just there was 15 of us in there just looking at each other like, oh my God, somebody give this guy some heroin. I'm going to sleep. I shouldn't say that stuff. That's terrible. But yeah, that's Kentucky. They don't care. They let you go through that stuff in there. They're like, well, sorry, and they'll put you in with 20 other people in the same room. Well,
what the heck? That's terrible.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's just how it is. It's a hell of an experience. Like Jason said, I'm sorry, it's Justin, but I did not forget that joke from an hour ago. I still
no, it's true. It's not even a joke. My mom has called me Jason. My grandmother's called me Jason. Pretty much everybody. I don't think my wife's done it yet, but she will.
She better not.
Yeah. It's prison sucks. Don't go.
Mm-hmm. Change the system.
Right. Well, anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I guess we could talk about the characters a little bit. That might help. So the red-haired lady on the far. Does anybody else have to constantly check every time what's left and right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the red-haired lady on the, I have to do it again. Right. That's Maybellina. She thinks she's a fake psychic, but she's actually a real psychic. in that she always makes the bad decision, right? She sees into the future and does the wrong thing, right? So they keep her around as like a kind of a reverse canary in the coal mine, where if she ever gets enthusiastic about anything, you know not to do it, right? So, and she's based off of this woman that I represented at one point, who just had an unholy talent for saying the exact wrong thing, like the exact wrongest thing, to the judges and the DEA and stuff. Just like, just stop. So that's what she's from. Hermes, the guy on the left, the old guy on the left, he is 3,000 years old, and he just won't retire, and he's very senile. The tall guy is Girk. He's the Yaphet Kotto stand-in. He's sort of the in police movies from the 80s, and probably, you know, there's always the captain that screams at you and demands your badge and hates you.
Yeah.
And that's him. Mimi beneath him, Larry, and then Lisa. She's kind of like the normie. She's in SWAT because she's being punished. So this is her Siberia. So she doesn't actually have magic at all. And actually, she spends the first few months thinking they just handle crank calls, until they tell her, no, it's all real. So she has a bit of an experience. And then there's on her shoulder, I think, is Tiny Tim, who's about this big. He's kind of the wet work guy.
Okay.
You know, they send him in to spy on stuff. He's got a magic murder bag where he can reach in and grab whatever he needs.
A magic murder bag. I need.
So, you know, guns, cell phones, whatever. It's all shrink down to the size. And, you know, so that's the crew, basically. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. I like the description, how each character. I'm sure you have a personal connection to these characters. You know, you're suspended without pay. I'm just already hearing that. Give me your badge and your wand. I don't know the flavors and where you're coming from. I imagine too, with your background and your history. Possibly you threw an Alien 3 reference out, so we'd get along. Totally get along. So I'm already kind of getting coming from with this, and I imagine this is all going to come out through this story, especially if you're saying it's your masterpiece. There's so much probably of your interest in things just coming out in this.
I let my nerd flag fly. I mean, like I'm just going for it. There's LARPing it makes a couple of appearances. Magic, there's some Magic Gathering jokes. I was playing a lot of Magic when I was writing this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So basically, nobody's safe. If you're a nerd, you're not safe in this. Somebody's getting hit somewhere, and I like
it's very. I mean, I don't punch down at anything, but I mean, it's funny. It's just funny, you know. I did a LARP once in like 1998, right? Where we were playing like vampires, and we're at like a restaurant getting coffee, and people won't stop pretending to be vampires with the waitress. There's moments of absurdity for sure.
Oh, that's hilarious. That sounds like my whole 90s, actually, to be honest with you. It's the whole 90s.
I'm really glad we did this today. Well, I was fine with any other day, but today. And looks like we're going to end the stream here. I'm glad we got to talk. I was told it was going to be like 30 minutes, but knowing me, I said it's going to be an hour, and it's most likely going to be on purpose, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
It's hard to cram that much info in 30 minutes. That is.
Yeah, I love talking about SWAT for sure and writing. So yeah, it's always been fun to. Well, it's usually fun to do these. I've been doing a lot of them. You guys have been great, but there is definitely a tier of podcasts of people that do not have any charisma.
Oh wow!
No, for sure. We're friends with a few of the same creators, and sometimes they invite me, send me a link for emotional support, that kind of stuff, and then I would see, and I would get bored, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm here. I'll keep the chat going for you.
You end up like 10 pages down and it's just your icon talking to yourself. It's like,
but then I realize it's all for naught because some people don't show the chat on purpose so they can focus on the interview, which I do understand. But then I'm like, oh, I'm just talking to myself, asking questions.
Some people sell their own too. Like some people interview themselves and sell their own comics for you too. Like we're just asking the right questions, and Justin and Rachel are definitely that type where their enthusiasm, their interest in their own product definitely upped my enthusiasm, and I'm assuming people in the chat too. So it was good to have you. I think we should have you back for issue 2 because I think there's definitely going to be an issue 2, and so there'll be future times, and hopefully our audience will grow and get a little bigger by then. And
yeah, I mean, I think once people see the final product, that they're gonna really like it a lot. Like a lot. So
Awesomeness, possumness. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. Everybody that's watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Maybe pick up, at least the PDF.
At least, and it's a pretty good price too.
Fair,
all right, guys, everything is on the description, the Zoop, their socials, etc. If you have any questions, you can contact them about it, or if you have any Zoop questions, you might as well contact me about it because I just did it, so I got the info, I guess.
Yeah, just leveled up. She's a level 1 Zooper.
Yeah.
Exactly. So have a nice night, everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thanks.